kick out racists as well, but Katie Lamb is still on their front bench. We see the Enoch Powell type comments. We see what Nigel Farage has said in his past. We see what Sarah Potchin has said in recent weeks.
He hasn't said anything in his past.
Absolutely. There's something we're opposed to in this country. Look, why am I proud of this country? I think our country is better when every single one of us contributes, where we are proud of every single one of us. Our contribution, not because of the way we look, but the way we act, the values that we hold. There's a clear difference between us and Reform, and now, unfortunately, Conservatives.
OK, well, the Conservatives aren't here to answer this, but they will be back on the programme soon. What about Tom's point that actually this applies to the left of British politics as well, that actually you are under threat from and you're shedding votes to the Greens, to the Liberal Democrats, that actually you might all have to get together?
A Reform councillor tears apart a Labour MP after he brands all Reform MPs racist, and the stakes are your vote, your privacy and basic trust now. She turns his Putin jibe into a list of homegrown authoritarian habits, cancelling elections, scrapping jury trials, and rolling out digital ID with no mandate. What happens after that is genuinely startling, because the transcript claims 5.5 million voters were affected in May, then 7.5 million more. He drags in Enoch Powell and Nigel Farage. She points to him urging national flags off lampposts. So who's really playing politics with the truth? You need to hear how this Labour MP tries to brand an entire party as racist and how the Reform councillor fires back in seconds. Pay attention to the exact wording. It tells you who's actually playing power games.
So look, I know people in the Greens, Liberal Democrats, they're good, decent people, but fundamentally we do have some differences about the way we believe our politics should be.
Okay. So you believe our politics... So you talk about a dictator, correct? Yes? You say Putin's a dictator. I'll tell you what's a dictatorship, and I'll tell you what's an authoritarian regime. It's cancelling elections. It's cancelling jury trials. It's imposing a digital ID system with no political mandates. And it's also curbing online dissent that you don't approve of. That's how authoritarian regimes operate. And you're doing all of that without a political mandate. It was not in your manifesto. We're not the ones cancelling elections. We're not the ones that want to surveil the whole country. We're not the ones that want to subject everyone to a digital ID without a political mandate. That's how dictators operate. It's not us, it's you.
Well, I'm not the one cozying up to Putin like Reform
how
likes to do.
And I've seen time and time again Reform up to Putin
when he was in the European
Parliament. How are we cozying up to Putin?
As well as the Welsh leader.
Can you speak one at a time? Just the viewers don't like talking over. We'll give you both your say.
Accused us.
Yeah, I will give you your say.
Absolutely take it on.
And then...
In terms of online dissent, we absolutely criminalise those who threaten violence, especially to burn down hotels. Absolutely, yes, that's right, law and order, because I believe in reducing crime in this country, and I make no apologies for that whatsoever. When it comes to digital IT, absolutely. I have a national insurance number, a way that I can make it easier for people to ensure they have their health records, link up with their other records to make life more easy. Absolutely, I defend that. And what else do I defend? I defend the country and the values of this nation, which it doesn't matter how you look, it's what you contribute. And you know what? I'm really proud about this country. I'm really proud about the fact that the way I look has never made me feel any less British. Now, that's not what Nigel Farage believed as a schoolchild. It's not what Sarah Potchin believes today. I'm absolutely disgusted and ashamed where Reform are today. And I'll say this as well.
Also listen for the dodge. When she asks, in what sense are they cozying up, it's a basic question. If you're going to accuse someone of being soft on dictators, you'd better be able to explain it cleanly. Otherwise, it's just a smear with a suit on. All right, next you're going to hear the Labour MP do what they always do, justify more state control as making life easier, and wrap it all up in a speech about pride and identity. Don't get distracted by the emotion, focus on what's being defended. So that's the move. Call it law and order, call it health records, call it national insurance, call it values. And yes, of course, threats of violence should be dealt with. Nobody normal wants lunatics threatening to burn places down. But the argument in the middle of this row isn't should violence be illegal. The argument is who decides what counts as dissent you don't approve of, and how far does the system go once it's built? Because once you've created the machinery, digital IDs linked to records, online speech policed by the same class that hates being criticized, it never stays limited to the obvious bad stuff. It expands. It always expands. That's not conspiracy, that's history. Governments don't build powers and then politely forget they exist. And there's another trick in there. I'm proud. I've never felt less British. Fair enough. Good. But that personal story doesn't answer the political charge. It doesn't tell you why whole communities are being told their vote can be delayed or why new control systems are being pushed without clear consent. It's a shield. It's meant to make you feel cruel for even asking. Now we're heading to the bit where the Reform councillor lands her sharpest line, and it's not about Putin at all. It's about whether Labour are so scared of the polls that they'd rather change the rules than face the public. Listen carefully to how she frames it.
I'm ashamed to discuss where the Conservative Party are too.
Right, let's just no, Layla will have the chance to answer that. Please answer that.
So, if I may, just two questions. You said we're cozying up to Putin. Could you tell us in what sense?
Well, first of all, your Welsh leader was convicted of treason
yes, and he's a traitor.
as an MEP. We've seen
Okay,
Putin, we've seen Farage do it. We've seen Farage do it as a European Parliament when he's in the MEP, repeating Putin's talking points that Ukraine were the one who ensured, or rather incentivised, an invasion. How despicable has that?
He didn't say that.
Layla answer, please.
He didn't say that, number one. We have never said that you should be judged on the way you look. Okay, we say that people that come to this country have to be a net contributor and respect British values. If you find that a problem, then that's your problem. But the majority of the British public agree with us. And you mentioned that you respect stopping crime, then you should stop illegal migration from coming in. You should take us out of the ECHR so illegal migrants do not cross on our shores. It's one thing you didn't say you respect, and that's democracy. And it's obvious that you don't, because you're cancelling elections for 7.5 million people after some of your councils cancelled elections in May for 5.5 million people.
Layla, could I just put to you, during the election campaign, Nigel Farage, in an interview with the BBC, he did say that the West provoked the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, he said that the NATO expansion could have provoked the war in Ukraine. And that is an opinion. It is not a confirmation that Putin's a great leader or something. And that, I think, is a widely held belief by some academics. It doesn't at all mean that he's cozying up to Putin.
Well, look, I personally really think Winston Churchill was one of our greatest prime ministers. And I remember in the 1930s when he stood there and he said, dictators in Europe should be stood up to. Absolutely, dictators in Europe should be stood up to stop the military invading. I'm really proud of Winston Churchill. I'm really proud of his legacy. Now, look, I agree with Winston Churchill. It's just a shame that Nigel Farage doesn't. It's
a shame that you have to cancel elections because you're so scared of the polling that Reform's going to beat you in every single election that you've cancelled.
Right.
Stand by your words and
That final punch matters because it goes straight to legitimacy. If voters start believing elections get moved around whenever the establishment feels wobbly, trust collapses fast, and once that's gone, you don't get it back with another glossy speech. And look, whether you love Reform or can't stand them, the principle is bigger than one party. You cannot run a healthy country on permanent smears and procedural games. The public aren't daft. They can feel when they're being managed. This is the same fight we've had in America. The ruling class wants you arguing over labels while they tighten the screws behind your back. Call it British politics, call it America first, either way, ordinary people deserve honesty, fair elections, and a government that doesn't treat free speech like a privilege.